Alice Ott Mysteries, Act 1, Scene 1. Alice Ott and Gerard have been living at Felicia's house, joining forces during the height of the pandemic. Alice is wide awake even though it is well past her usual bedtime. She slowly climbs upstairs to Felicia's meditation room and flings open the door.
Felicia, I have to talk with you.
Felicia, who is holding a complicated yoga pose, stares at her in disbelief.
Well, this is a first. I've always been the one who violates your no conversations after 9 p.m. rule. This must be important since you're bursting in here in the middle of my yoga practice. What on earth is going on?
Alice knew that if she didn't explain herself right this minute, she wasn't going to hold on to her resolve. It was like going into cold water. You had to just push yourself in, even when the first minute or so made you think it was much too cold. She had spent her whole life pushing on into the hard things.
You're not going to like hearing this, but I want you to listen to this with an open mind, Felicia.
Oh dear, you're going to tell me that you and Gerard don't like my cooking. I'm simply trying to do my part to keep us healthy. Alice, if it were not for the ever looming threats of COVID and old age, I'd just wallow in the blissful pools of butterfat in Gerard's luscious French pastries and souffles. But Alice, all this fresh produce I use creates an absolutely essential balance. Simply, surely you know that.
No, that's not what's bothering me. Gerard and I love your meals. We are so grateful to you for all the healthy food and for sharing your beautiful home with us. Surely you know that.
Alice peers around Felicia's meditation room to see if there's anywhere above knee level where she could sit down. She knew better than to try to lower herself onto any of the prayer pillows. She's sure she could never get back up unless someone hauled her onto her feet like a sack of potatoes.
Alice, dear, I know you can't sit comfortably in here. Let's move next door to the healing room. There's that lovely old rocking chair. Or you could lie down on my massage table. Or better still, I will stretch out my spine on the table while I listen to whatever has got you so agitated.
The healing room smells wonderful. Lavender, cloves, and other herbs that Alice can't quite identify. Alice settles herself in the rocking chair. Felicia is now lying on her back on her massage table, her hands folded above her belly, a small smile welcoming Alice's presence.
I guess I'll jump right in. I need to make some big changes, Felicia. I should be doing something more active. I'm not out in the world. I'm no longer showing up for justice. I just don't feel like myself. I feel old and tired.
Well, we're not exactly spring chickens. Does this surprise you? I know what happens when you are seized by some plan for stirring up trouble. Nothing will stop you. You're making me very anxious.
Felicia begins her tapping exercises. She hums softly to herself as she taps various points on her head, below her eyes, under her lip, down her arms and under her armpits. Alice can't help but smile. They were each just being themselves, she thinks. Maybe it's too soon to share her new ideas with Felicia. Clearly she has caught her friend off guard.
I'm sorry. It's really too late at night to have these conversations.
I'm not the one who's feeling old and tired. I can talk all night if you have the stamina. But I know you don't. That's part of this, Alice. We are old. We can't go on doing all the things that we did before. It's just not the pandemic stopping us.
Alice is struggling to formulate a rejoinder when the door swings open and Mother Jones the cat stalks in.
Oh dear. Jones seems determined to enforce her bedtime schedule. She won't let any of us rest until I take her down to the bedroom with me. We can talk more in the morning.
You might want to ask the dream goddess for guidance during your dreams tonight. See you in the morning when you are refreshed. Ask the dream goddess.
Gerard is deep asleep when Alice crawls under the covers. As she snuggles up to him, Mother Jones jumps onto the bed. She purrs as she hears the human snores begin. She has accomplished her mission, and all is well. Act 1, Scene 2. Today, Felicia and Alice are in Felicia's Cadillac, heading for the apple orchard. Even though it's a crisp fall day, they have the top down. Reaching their destination, they find a picnic table where they can look out at a spectacular view of the valley.
The colors will be turning soon.
Aren't these cider donuts delicious? Just outstanding. I can't say enough about them. In fact, I wonder if there's something special they're using this year. Something like a new ingredient. Maybe they're using a new method or...
My. You should write food reviews for the Daily Hampshire Gazette. Alice, what is going on?
Well, I'm still thinking about what I was telling you about last night. About how useless I've been feeling.
Felicia nods, smiling serenely. Alice is surprised. She wonders if it's the donut or if Felicia is feeling more open today about Alice's longing for political action.
Well, coincidentally, Nancy Warren called me from Florida this morning.
You know, there's no such thing as coincidence. The universe had a reason for Nancy Warren to call. How is she doing down there with the swamps and the gators?
She wants me to consider getting involved in an interesting organizing project down in Florida. They need help investigating the assaults against some young people working on a lawsuit against a multinational healthcare corporation.
Felicia puts down her half-eaten donut and her cup of coffee. She stares at Alice in dismay.
You and Gerard should come with me to Florida. Imagine being able to walk on the beach in November while at the same time becoming useful again. We could...
Alice, dear, the COVID shutdown we've been through has been hard. And I understand that you're frustrated, but it's not going to last forever. Soon we'll be out there again with our signs and our petitions and our raging granny hats. We can stay right here in New England and be troublemakers.
But I need to do something now. Nancy Warren's friends really need help.
And you're imagining we could just hop in the car and travel down to Florida. You're not thinking sensibly, dear Alice.
Felicia, I feel whole again. When I think about going down there, there is a corrupt corporation and a lawsuit involved. We could be doing something useful. Nancy is sure we could contribute to an attempted murder investigation.
Attempted murder? You do have cabin fever, Alice. Why isn't it enough for you to make calls and donations? And we just finished writing all those postcards to congressional representatives. Why are you so restless?
A young woman has lost her life, almost lost her life, fighting corruption in that healthcare system. With our combined experience, we could help figure out who's behind the attack. We must think of those wonderful young organizers who could use our support.
Alice realizes that she is using the wrong tactic. Felicia is far more likely to respond to a personal plea for help than an argument about joining a dangerous political situation. Felicia needs to feel that her friends depend on her. And Alice realizes that she does indeed need her friend for the journey she is now planning.
Felicia, I'm not unhappy here. I love the peacefulness and the companionship we've been sharing these months. We've been sheltering together. I'm so sorry. I haven't really acknowledged what good care you've been taking of Gerard and me. You're a wonderful friend and a superb host.
Felicia looks surprised. Apologies between them are rare. She is silent for a few moments, then takes a deep breath and pats Alice's hand.
You might be a little bit right, Alice. Perhaps I do have some bruised feelings, but I feel as if you're dragging us into something I can't really comprehend. I don't think I want to go to Florida. So much negative energy.
Felicia, I don't think I can undertake this investigation without you.
Felicia's mouth actually falls open in surprise. Alice thought that happened only in cartoons and children's books.
Well, if you persist in this vague and seemingly dangerous scheme of yours, alas, I may simply be forced out of concern for your safety to accompany you. I am not saying that I think this is a good idea, but I'll try to understand.
Alice takes a deep breath, then gives Felicia a big hug. Felicia closes her eyes and lifts her hands upward. They remain silent for a few seconds.
Alice, it's a go. My guides have affirmed your mission.
Yay!
Act 2. As the cold winds of December make New England less hospitable, Alice has finally convinced both Gerard and Felicia to head for Florida. But the road trip is getting long by the afternoon of the third day. Everyone is tired of the healthy snacks that Felicia has provided for them.
Where is this place?
Somewhere in Georgia.
Oh,
It'll probably be night by the time we get to Florida.
should we perhaps look for the resting stop? Are you not tired, ma belle?
I'm enduring.
Our organs, they need the resting stop, n'est-ce pas?
You know you can always use my easy peasy device if you get desperate.
I have no intention of using that.
Alice had to admit she was impressed by Felicia's good spirits. Alice felt as if she had tricked them into an outward-bound road trip for seniors. Her bladder was complaining and she was ready to drop.
Oh, why do we drive and it is not yet la destination? My back, it is très mal. Also, why is it that we do not stop for le repas?
Oh, don't worry, Gerard. When we get to Florida, we'll get delicious key lime pie and lovely fish, red pepper, grouper, catfish. We'll probably even eat hush puppies.
Hush puppies, you say? No. I do not eat le chien.
She's not talking about eating dogs, mon cher. Hush puppies are fried food, like French fries or fried onion rings.
But how can it be so long, la distance? We go and we go and we go in this place with no water, no mountains, no beauty.
Gerard, we're still in Georgia. There will be water in Florida. I'm sure of it. Oceans, rivers, lakes, swamps even.
Alice studies Gerard thoughtfully. She was surprised that he seemed so disoriented, but he is not a young man. They had all been coping with stress and uncertainty and sore backs. A really good meal might be the only way to restore Gerard's normal cheerfulness.
I think we should stop soon and get a fresh cooked meal.
Less than 30 minutes later, Felicia calls out excitedly.
Felicia.
She points at a large billboard over there. Real down-home experience. Country cooking like mamas. Gerard beams happily.
Eh bien, la cuisine chez maman. This is good, n'est-ce pas?
They pull into the parking lot of a big, low-roofed stucco building. There is a sign mounted on the flat tar paper roof. A portrait of a huge pig in a white suit and a straw hat, holding a pork chop in one trotter and a bottle of Old Dixie beer in the other. Completing the scene is a catfish in a mermaid costume, large red lips curled in a welcoming smile.
Oh my, Felicia, what do you sense about the aura of this place? For once, I would really like to know.
Masks, everyone.
No, no, absolutely no. We insult the chef if we wears a mask to les repas.
If you won't wear your mask, then I will sit in the car while you go in and order yourself a big helping of the virus.
Gerard looked as if he might ignore her, but with a mournful groan he puts on his mask. When they are ready to make their entrance, Gerard opens the door with a flourish. They stare into the darkened room, overwhelmed by the smell of cigarettes and beer and loud country music.
Y'all come on in now.
Bonjour.
Y'all be wanting a table?
We'd love one of those rustic tables that we saw outside.
You take whichever one y'all want. We don't have much of a crowd right now, as you can see. Y'all planning on eating or just stopping off the highway for a drink? Can I bring y'all some beverages, menus with your beverages?
We'd surely love a few menus. We loved your sign the minute we saw it. When we pulled right off the highway, our mouths were just watering.
Aren't you getting a little carried away?
Oh, and we do need a restroom before we relax at the picnic table.
Restrooms are over there, to the right of the bar. The doors are clearly marked bulls and heifers.
Alice wonders if she should translate for Gerard. Well, this was part of the adventure. She told herself she shouldn't be snarky about language. If she must use the heifer's room, she would just try to be thankful for indoor toilets. As they look over their menus, Felicia's instantaneous frown signals that there are no viable, meat-free, chemically pure choices. Alice hopes that Felicia will not grill the owner. Is the lettuce organic? Are the eggs free range? Is the bread gluten free?
I explore the fried gator steak, the meat of the alligator, no?
Oh dear. Maybe I'll just have the small house salad and a piece of peach pie with ice cream. George is known for the peaches, right?
Ah, excellent. I'm ordering the fish and a baked potato and a salad. I'm sure that Gerard will want the peach pie too.
You folks ready? We got some specials today. The pepper fried catfish is good, and so's the boiled shrimp. You mind me asking if y'all are kin? You two ladies, y'all probably sisters, am I right? And you, sir, you're the husband, though I don't know which one of these two lovely ladies might be your wife.
I was thinking of having the peach pie with ice cream. I'll just order a tiny little house salad. So don't spoil my appetite.
A woman who knows what she wants. And you, ma'am, what's your preference?
Could I get the catfish without...
Don't know about that. Chef doesn't like his cooking to be challenged, if you know what I mean.
I'm sorry. I should apologize for our lack of manners. My name is Alice, and this is Gerard, and this is Felicia, and you are...
They call me Doobie. That's short for Durbin Jr. My brother John is the guy in the kitchen. He don't like to alter his recipes. I think you might like the boiled shrimp, Miss Alice. Mighty fresh.
I wish to enjoy the gator steak, Monsieur Durbin. I am sure it is très, what do you say, fresh?
You's gotta be French. You sound just like Jacques Pepin. Just like him. You some famous chef who's gonna surprise me now and tell me y'all are looking for some genuine Georgia cooking? You gonna make me famous, Mean John?
Monsieur Duby, I am not famous. I am only the chef in my own kitchen. I am so sorry to disappoint you.
I still keep believing it's gonna happen one day. Some TV guy's gonna show up and make this place a national landmark. Guess it's just not happening today. Can I bring y'all some beverages while you wait? I'll bring a basket of hot biscuits too.
Felicia, Shall we investigate the heifer's room together? I could use a little help getting there. I'm afraid my legs are a bit wobbly from sitting so long.
By the time the women return, the food is already on the table. Gerard takes a bite of gator steak and sweet potato fries.
Ah, this is delicious.
Alice wasn't sure how the spices of the boiled shrimp would settle in her digestive system, but her taste buds were humming with pleasure. Felicia was happy to discover that her salad was large and very fresh, the tomatoes as perfect as if she had just picked them out of her own garden. She sighed so loudly after her first bite of peach pie that Alice calls over to Doobie to bring 2 more slices.
The boys and I were just wondering if y'all are down here to prepare for the big rally in Jacksonville. None of my business, of course, but I just thought I'd ask. They were guessing maybe the state convention, or maybe you're on a church mission or something. Otherwise, they can't figure out what y'all are doing down here, off the beaten path, so to speak. It's unusual to see a group such as yourselves in these parts. I just told them you weren't here for a cooking show, even though that had been my first guess.
There is an anxious silence. No one looks up from their food, and Alice feels a trickle of nervous sweat on her face.
Well, to tell you the truth, we're birders. We've heard such exciting stories about New Smyrna Beach and Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge. Maybe you've heard of it.
Birds? That's just something. Driving all the way down here, risking the hurricanes and all to see birds?
Well, speaking of those birds, we better be getting back on the road. It's a long way to New Smyrna Beach.
Mind if I ask y'all just one more question?
Felicia and Gerard nod yes. At the same time, Alice shakes her head no.
Well now, I guess I'll take that as a maybe. Since y'all are from Massachusetts, I was just wondering if you know that firecracker senator personally. You know that Elizabeth Warren?
Felicia's eyes widen, and Alice takes a deep breath, bracing herself for what might be coming next.
Well, I don't know her personally. No.
Too bad. My wife's a big fan. She would have hightailed it right up to Washington if that little lady had been nominated president. She would follow that little lady anywhere. But she'd be tickled to know I met some folks from Miss Warren's home state.
Act 3. Alice, Felicia, and Gerard are now in Florida, where they hope to help expose the Touchstone Corporation. There are allegations that the corporation is diverting federal funding intended to help local nursing homes cope with the ravages of COVID. The newly arrived trio of intrepid activists have begun devising a scheme to infiltrate the Touchstone Corporation headquarters. Alice and Gerard are sipping their morning coffee on the screen porch of the house they are renting. They are startled by the sudden appearance of Susan, a nearby neighbor. She emerges from among the thick bushes and magnolia tree branches just behind the porch, a large set of binoculars around her neck.
Good morning. Not too early, I hope.
Good heavens. What are you doing back here?
Just watching a pair of painted buntings. And I have an idea to help you with your search. You remember about the old lady over on Kingfisher Lane, the one who works for one of those big healthcare companies? Well, I told her about you and how you were looking for a facility for the gentleman. Pearl is willing to tell you what she can. She's definitely knowledgeable about nursing care in this area. I think she's planning to retire soon, so maybe she'll recommend her company. Or she might make you think twice. She's not one for sugarcoating.
Alice, perhaps you do not need me for this conversation?
Alice reminds herself that they must remember not to blow Gerard's cover of dementia. But right now she needs his help to learn whatever they could about the Touchstone Corporation.
Gerard, dear, you have to postpone your nap this morning. I want you to hear whatever we hear about nursing homes. does your friend Pearl know about our little situation?
Only what you told me. Everyone around here has experiences they could tell you about, but Pearl is the real expert.
Without waiting for an answer, Susan whisks back out the porch door and disappears into the bushes.
I do not think you need me. I'm sorry. I do not think you slept well, my Alice.
No, as a matter of fact, I was worrying about Felicia. She was off somewhere last night, communing with the moon or something. I haven't heard a peep, and she's usually up by now. She must be sleeping off her adventure from last night. Perhaps she never returned. I really should check to make sure she's in her room.
With Gerard following behind, Alice goes to Felicia's bedroom door and tries to open it quietly to peek in. She gasps, taking a step backwards.
Oh, good heavens! I didn't mean to startle you, Felicia. So sorry.
Not a problem. I was just practicing my naked yoga. Do come in.
I do not want to view the naked yoga. S'il vous plaît. Perhaps remind Felicia that I am here also, Alice?
A few minutes after Felicia appears, fully clothed, the doorbell rings.
Maybe it's the neighbor that Susan told us about.
Anyone home in there?
Hello, you must be Pearl. Can I invite you to come around to the back and join us on the porch so we'll all be safe?
You all worried about the sickness? I figured you'd be like that being from up north and all. Susan told me y'all wanted to ask me some questions about nursing homes. She warned me you were fussy about the pandemic and so on. So here I am, ready with a mask. You don't have to be afraid of me giving you the COVID, but you better be afraid of the young ones who still think they can party all night at the beach and not get vaccinated. Worry about those silly kids if you want, but you're safe in this neighborhood. Nobody around here is getting the COVID. We're all just too damned old to go anywhere.
Well, we should get our masks too. We want to protect you from us. We've just traveled through 11 states to get here, so we're the ones who might be carrying the virus. Although, of course, we've been vaccinated.
Just stay outside here and we can talk. I'm okay with that.
Felicia and Gerard appear on either side of Alice, smiling their welcome from a safe distance inside the door.
May I offer you a cold glass of iced tea, Pearl?
Bonjour, madame.
We'll just sit outside with you here in the patio. I'll grab those frozen croissants Gerard made yesterday and put them into the microwave to heat. It'll just take a minute.
No, ma belle. This will ruin the texture of la pâtisserie.
Can't be helped. Remember, you're supposed to have lost all your English.
You may eat les croissants you have ruined, but I will not be present. You and Felicia, you have the conversation. I will return later to see what you discover. But now you must begin sans moi. Mesdames, excusez-moi, je dois vous dire au revoir.
So, you're looking to place your husband down here. You planning to stay in Florida to be near him?
Oh, yes, of course. I am heartbroken that I even have to consider enrolling him in a care facility, but I can't keep him at home anymore. Gerard has lost much of his English over the past year, and I can't manage all of his needs. We thought the climate down here would be easier for me. I really can't drive in the winter at home anymore.
And I offered to come along for support. It's actually a double pleasure for me to help dear Alice because I happen to be working on a feature piece of Splash magazine.
The moment has arrived to launch the cover story they concocted to get inside the inner workings of the Touchstone Corporation.
My feature is about nursing homes post-COVID. I thought it would be interesting to see how things are down here. We want to make the article really upbeat. There's been so much depressing news about how everyone is suffering from COVID's impact. Splash wants to highlight the places where things are going well.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I'll be much use to you in regard to your article. There's not much joy and light going around for the older folks, at least not for those they've got in the nursing homes my company runs.
Oh, really? How very interesting. Why do you say that?
I never heard of this Splash magazine. Where do you get it?
Oh, it's quite new.
Whatever. Anyhow, I'll be honest with you. I've been working for Touchstone Healthcare for the past 10 years, and I have a girlfriend I play cards with on Thursday nights. She works for the Good Shepherd Corporation. She's right here in the Cove, over on Blue Heron. Between Kathy and me, there's a lot we can tell you. But I have to be honest, it's not all good news.
Alice tries not to look thrilled. She forces herself to remember her role as a worried wife deciding where to institutionalize her beloved husband.
Well, there's no such things these days as a nursing home without some hard stories. At Splash, we specialize in finding silver linings, no matter what we're covering. Even in this terrible time post-COVID, there are so many human interest stories that make you believe in the goodness of humanity. Don't you think?
To tell you the truth, I kind of prefer birds and dogs. Human beings are a whole other story.
You seem so young to be retiring, Pearl. If you don't mind me asking, are you leaving your job because of your working conditions?
Oh, believe me, honey, I'm no spring chicken. Kathy and me, we're competing to see who quits her job first. We're both about to hit 65, and it's going to be a race right down to the day. I can't wait.
Oh, how blessed. We'll feature the two of you in your glorious futures in retirement, along with the happy stories of senior citizens enjoying the comforts of your nursing homes.
Not in Touchstone's nursing homes, you won't. The PR department might manipulate the facts to tell you some story full of bullpucky, but you won't get that la-la story from me, and you probably won't get it from the nursing home residents if you speak to them alone.
A friend of mine told me about one of the healthcare companies around here that runs several nursing homes, how they got a big federal COVID grant. That's one of the reasons we came down here. We thought my husband would get extra good care from a place that's been awarded such a big grant. Do you know anything about that?
Oh, you betcha. That would be Touchstone, my company. Yep. There was a whole bunch of hoopla when it came out in the newspaper that we got that big grant. Everyone was over the moon about it at first. But I'm not going to see a penny of that money. And you know what else? The patients aren't going to get diddly squat. Touchstone will find a way to put most all that grant money into their own pockets.
Alice and Felicia stare at each other, trying not to show their excitement about this news.
Well, girls, I have to get going soon. Kathy and I are going to a birthday party at a bar up the road in South Daytona. They have axe throwing contests and free sweet potato fries with every order of beer. But anyway, before I go, I was telling you about when they got that grant. Kath told me her son's girlfriend works at Serenity Place, also owned by Touchstone. And everyone there's about ready to go on strike because they never got their money for PPE or their overtime.
Oh, goodness. How exciting.
Alice glares at Felicia, who is on thin ice, perilously close to blowing their cover.
I do apologize I haven't been much help to you, ma'am. I hope you can find a decent place for your husband down here.
Pearl stops just before she walks away. She lowers her voice, stepping closer to Felicia.
I can get you in the door at Touchstone if you decide to go ahead with your feature. I'll make like I'm promoting your article, and after I show you around, you can just go ahead and sprinkle whatever happy dust you want over the nursing facility. People need good news, I guess. But you better believe that if you quote me on anything I told you about those bastards, I will deny it. I'll tell the lawyers to sue your ass. I mean it. Now y'all have a good day.
Alice and Felicia watch Pearl cross the road and make her way down to her house at the other end of Kingfisher Lane.
I think we have found an opening into the Touchstone Corporation. Maybe we should go to one of those axe throwing contests with our new friend and see what else we can find out.
Susan rides up to the front of the house on her bike before they can go back into the house.
Want to meet the neighborhood? Could be useful to you, just in case you need more help. Everyone's gathered right down the street watching those owls. You don't want to miss the show.
I'd better call Gerard. He will want to see this.
We all have a thing about the owls in the neighborhood. You hear yet about our resident great horned owls? They live right down the street.
Alice and Felicia shake their heads, staring at Susan as they try to make a rapid switch from the axe-throwing party to the neighborhood owls.
Well, here's the thing. Once the mama bird lays the eggs, she and the father owl take turns sitting on the nest. There's nothing like the parental devotion you can see. They'll stick with their jobs as parents 24/7. Through heavy rainfall, terrible high winds, unseasonably cold weather, for at least 3 months until the babies are fledged. I could tell you stories about the owls here that would make you just weep for the beauty of their devotion.
Susan leaves on her bike to join the neighbors gathered down the street watching the owls.
You know, what Susan just said makes me feel hopeful about Florida. There may be some corrupt people calling the shots down there, but there's such beauty and such kindness. And now the owls.
And don't forget about Doobie and his wife, the Elizabeth Warren fan. I think we're going to meet lots more Doobies and Pearls while we are down.
I see that your guest has not stayed, May. Voila! I have made brioche for us. Perhaps we should invite Mademoiselle, who comes from the bushes, and Madame Pearl to join us for the repas. Now we have a spy to pull the covers off the villains of Touchstone.
To find out how the story ends, buy your copy of Danger and Dusty